Hello guys and welcome to the Communication Assessment Masterclass. In this video, I've completely decoded two crucial sections of communication assessment, grammar and comprehension. And just to let you know, both these sections are cleverly designed by the company to evaluate your command on grammar and listening comprehension through tricky questions. And I guarantee that after watching this video, you will learn every single tip and trick you need to clear this assessment pretty easily. So this assessment has four sections. Section A, reading and listening. Section B, speaking. Section C, grammar. And Section D, comprehension. So before we take a look at the first part of this video, which is Section C, grammar, let me tell you that this is part 2 of the communication assessment. In part 1, we have already covered the briefing for the first two sections, Section 1, reading and listening, and Section 2, speaking. Since part 1 got a little lengthy, so I decided to split the video into two parts. So this is basically part 2 of the video, and if you haven't watched part 1 yet, then I would highly recommend that after watching this video, you should definitely watch part 1 to get complete understanding of the assessment and ensure you're fully prepared. Section C, grammar. So in this section, you will encounter a total of 34 questions, which are further divided into 5 parts of 5 categories. And you will have 15 minutes to complete all the questions. First, let's understand the question given in category 1. And in this category, you will get 8 questions and your task is to fill in the blank with the correct form of the verb given in the brackets. So let me show you a sample of how the fill in the blanks will look and what options will be given in the bracket. Okay, so let me quickly share a super easy trick that will help you get these fill in the blank questions right every single time. I call this the platinum rule for verbs. The first thing that you need to do is to look at the subject and check if it's singular or plural. The next thing that you should do is to try to figure out the tense of the sentence by looking at the time clues like past, present, or future. And once you successfully find out the subject and the tense, choosing the correct verb becomes super easy. Let's try this with an example. So the question reads as, the train dash the station at 9 a.m. Okay, so the first thing we need to do is to check the subject. Since we are talking about only one train, this means the subject is singular. Now it's time to figure out the tense. Since the sentence talks about a fixed schedule, we should use the present simple tense. Now the last thing that we need to do is to choose the correct verb. So the rule says in the present simple tense, when the subject is singular, we must add an S to the verb. So the correct answer is leaves. The train leaves the station at 9 a.m. Guys, did you see how easy it was? Just follow these simple steps and trust me, you will never find it difficult to solve these type of questions again. So I'm not going to solve all the questions for you because the same rule applies to all of them. Now it's your turn to put your knowledge into practice. I've already explained the rule and how to use it. So go ahead and try it for yourself. Anyways, you will find a PDF link in the description box where I've added all the question and answers for all 5 categories. Although each category has 6 to 8 questions, but I've included around 20 to 24 questions per category. And just to let you know, these are actual questions that appeared in the communication assessment over the past few months. So don't forget to practice them. Okay, so let's move on to our next category. You will get 8 more questions and your task is to fill in the blanks with the correct tense given in the brackets. So let me again show you a sample of how the fill in the blanks will appear for this category. Let me share another easy trick to help you tackle fill in the blank questions with the correct tense. So the first thing you need to do when you encounter such questions is to identify the time clues in the sentence. Simply check if the action happened in the past, present, or future. Once you identify or spot the time clue, half of your job is already done. Let's try this with an example. So the question reads as, she dash to the market yesterday. Okay, here is the thing. As I said earlier, the first step is to check the time clue. The word yesterday tells us that the action has happened in the past. Now in the past tense, we use the second form of the verb. So between go and went, the correct answer is went. So the complete sentence is, she went to the market yesterday. Simple as that. Guys, again, just remember the simple rule. Whenever you have to fill in the blanks with the correct tense, first find out when the action is happening. It makes everything super easy. And just like previous category, I've added 20 to 24 more practice question and answers for this category as well. And for all the upcoming categories, I will continue adding more practice question and answers in the PDF. So make sure to check it out and don't forget to practice them. Guys, if you're enjoying this video, then do give it a thumbs up and don't forget to subscribe to my channel, Hiring Guru Official. In the next category, you will get 6 questions. And your task is to fill in the blanks with the correct article to complete the sentence. Guys, this is going to be a little easy one. So let me share a sample to show you what you're supposed to do. So to fill in the blank with the correct article, all you have to do is to check the word that comes right after the blank. This will actually help you decide whether you should use a, and, or the. Let's try this with an example. So the question reads as, she adopted dash adorable puppy from the shelter. Okay, so as I said earlier, the first step is to check the word after the blank. Here, the word adorable starts with a vowel sound. And guys, remember, we always use an before words that begins with a vowel sound. So the correct answer is an. She adopted an adorable puppy from the shelter. Guys, I know it's not that difficult to choose the correct article, but if anyone still finds it hard, let me quickly explain when to use a and the. We must use a when talking about something that is not specific. Also, a is used before a singular noun that begins with a consonant sound. For example, she adopted a puppy. So here, we don't know which puppy are we talking about. So we'll use a puppy because it's not specific which puppy are we talking about. Now let's look at when to use the. So we use the when talking about something specific or something that has already been mentioned before. For example, the puppy was very playful. So in this case, we are talking about a particular puppy. Basically, it is the same puppy that we have already mentioned earlier. Guys, to help you practice, I've also added practice question and answers for this category in the PDF. Do check them out. Alright, now it's time to move on to our next category questions. So in this category, you will again get 6 questions and your task is to fill in the blanks with the most suitable preposition provided in the brackets. So the first thing that you need to do is to look at how the words in the sentence are connected. Guys, I don't know why some people find this a little difficult, but trust me, it is not that complicated. Prepositions basically help us talk about certain things. Things like direction, time, place, or how things relate to each other. Once you understand what this sentence is trying to say, choosing the correct preposition becomes super easy. Let me explain this through an example. So the question reads as, she will meet me dash Monday. As I said earlier, the first step is to understand the relation or connection between the words. So here we are talking about a specific time, a day of the week, which is Monday. Guys, there is a very simple rule that you must follow to solve these kind of fill in the blank questions. Now the rule says for days we must use on, and for months or years we must use in. So in this case, the correct answer will be on, since we are talking about a day. She will meet me on Monday. Again, guys, just remember this simple rule. Whenever you have to fill in the blanks with the correct preposition, just focus on the relation or the connection it is creating in the sentence. And it will become super easy for you to solve these kind of questions. Okay, so the final 6 questions are going to be a little different, where you have to change the sentence from active voice to passive voice. And guys, trust me, I have seen so many candidates struggling with these type of questions because the given options seems so similar that they get confused. Anyways, converting active voice sentences to passive voice isn't that difficult. All you need to do is to follow a 3 simple step rule and you'll be all set to go. Let me try to explain all 3 rules along with relevant examples. And guys, trust me, after watching this, you will never make mistakes with active and passive voice questions. Okay, so let me first show you a sample question. Now let's talk about a few important rules that we must follow when changing a sentence from active voice to passive voice. Rule number 1, we never change the tense of the sentence. So if the sentence is in the present, past, or future tense, the passive sentence must also be in the same tense. For example, if the active sentence is in the future tense, then the passive sentence will also be in the future tense. So here you can see a sample on your screen. She will invite her friends to the party. Let's do one thing. I'll give you 10 seconds. Now try to use the rule I just explained and convert this active voice sentence into passive voice. Your time starts now. Good job done, guys. To those who got the correct answer on the first try, well done. That means you've understood the basic idea. But for those who are still a little confused, let me explain it in simple words. Okay, now the sentence says she will invite her friends to the party. So basically, this sentence is in simple future tense. And as I said earlier, the rule says never change the tense when converting to passive voice. Now, since our active sentence is in simple future tense, the passive sentence should also match the tense. Now, if we look at the given options, option 1 says she invited her friends to the party. Again, the sentence says she invited her friends, which means it is in simple past tense. But our original sentence is in the simple future tense. So this can't be the correct answer. And the same is the case with option 2 and option 4, which are also in a different tense. So all these options are incorrect. This means the correct answer, which but of course matches the tense of the active voice sentence, is option 3. Her friends will be invited to the party by her. I hope this explanation clears up your doubt. Rule number 2. In the active voice, the person or something who is doing the action, which is called the subject, comes first. But in the passive voice, the person or thing receiving the action, which is called the object, comes first. Let me explain this through an example. So in the active voice, the sentence says, the teacher explains the lesson. So in the passive voice sentence, it will become, the lesson is explained by the teacher. How? So as I explained earlier, in the active voice, the teacher who is doing the action comes first. But in the passive voice, the situation changes completely. The person or the thing who's receiving the action comes first. Now look at the example again. Who is receiving the action here? The lesson, right? So in the passive voice, our sentence will start with the lesson and end with the teacher. Now let's talk about the third and the final rule. When changing the passive voice, think about the action first. Then use the words like is, are, we, were, will be, have been, or had been, depending on when the action happens. After that, use the third form of the word. Let me try to make it easy and explain that through an example. Now, in the active voice, the sentence says, the dog chases the ball. But when we change it to passive voice, it becomes, the ball is chased by the dog. Let me explain how it works. So to change a sentence, we start with the thing that is receiving the action. In this case, it's the ball which is receiving the action. And since the action is happening in the present, so we must use is for present tense. Now it's time for us to change the verb as well. So we change the verb chases to its third form, which is chased. And lastly, since we end the sentence with the person or the thing which is doing the action, which in this case is the dog, so the sentence becomes, the ball is chased by the dog. Guys, I hope now you have a clear understanding of how to change the sentences from active to passive voice. So just follow the simple rules we discussed and you'll be all good to go. Guys, just before we move on to the final section of this test, I want to share a simple yet powerful action plan that can help you clear this assessment on your very first attempt. Step 1. So after watching this video, download the PDF from the link in the description box. This PDF contains the latest study material and questions from previous year's test, making it easier for you to understand each section and practice effectively. Step number 2. As I told you, this is part 2 of the Communication Assessment Masterclass, and I strongly recommend watching part 1 after this video because in part 1, I've completely decoded the first 2 sections of this assessment with a lot of handy tips and tricks. Anyways, the first 2 sections are a little tougher than the last 2 sections which we are covering in this video, section C and section D. So you must watch part 1 after watching this video. Step 3. Watch my live test video where I attempted the test myself. This video will give you a complete roadmap on how to approach this assessment, what kind of questions you can expect, and how fast things move in the real test settings. In a nutshell, my live test video will make you feel more prepared and confident before taking the actual test. And lastly, I actually get a lot of comments from candidates asking me to share resources where they can practice for the communication assessment. But unfortunately, there is no app or website available online where you can practice for this assessment beforehand. So to address this issue, I've created a virtual practice test where you can experience the real test without paying a single penny to anyone. You will get the real test questions and a chance to practice them in a virtual test environment. Trust me, this practice test video is a real game changer. Guys, all these videos that I'm talking about right now are available on my channel. I will also leave the links to these videos in the description box and on the end screen. Don't forget to check them out. Alright guys, let's quickly move on to the final section of this assessment, comprehension. So guys, in this section, you will encounter a total of 4 comprehension passages. And for each passage, you will hear a long audio clip of about 50 to 60 seconds each. Your task will be to listen to the passages very carefully because after each comprehension, you'll be asked 3 questions based on what you heard. Guys, please note that you can listen to each audio clip only once and you will have 10 minutes to complete all 4 comprehensions. Guys, to be honest with you, there are 2 important things that makes this section a bit tricky. First, the audio clips or passages are quite long, lasting about 60 seconds each. Secondly, all the audio clips will be played in American, Canadian or British accents, which makes it little difficult to understand and remember the details. But the good news is that there is one thing that makes this section easy as well. And that's something I will discuss after playing this sample audio clip for you. Guys, just a request. Please pay close attention to the sample audio clip and see how much you can understand or remember.
Biodiversity refers to the variety of life on Earth, from the smallest microorganisms to the largest mammals. It plays a crucial role in maintaining the balance of ecosystems. Different species depend on one another, and the loss of even a single species can disrupt this delicate balance. Deforestation, pollution, and climate change are some of the primary threats to biodiversity. Protecting biodiversity is essential for ensuring clean air, fresh water, and fertile soil. Conservation efforts are more important than ever as human activities continue to threaten natural habitats.
Alright, so guys, after listening to this sample audio clip, I'm sure you must have got an idea of what type of comprehension passages you will get in the real test. Now I know this might seem a bit tricky up to this point, but the good news is that all 3 questions will be asked only from the audio clips that was played. Let me now quickly explain how it works. So basically, this section is MCQ based, where each question will have 4 answer options and your task will be to choose the correct one. This simply means that in this section, we don't have to repeat anything or create answers in our own language. The answers are already displayed on your screen and you just have to select the correct one. So the only thing you really need to focus on in this section is listening carefully. Pay full attention to the audio clips, try to understand the accent, and make sure you grab the important details. If you succeed in doing that, finding the right answers will be super easy. Okay, so now let me play another audio clip, and this time, after listening, I'll give you some time to find the answers to all 3 questions on your own. But don't worry, I will share the correct answers after each question. Let's see how many can you get right on your own.
Positive thinking is a mental attitude that focuses on expecting good results and viewing life's challenges optimistically. Research suggests that individuals who maintain a positive outlook are more resilient in the face of stress and are often healthier both mentally and physically. Positive thinking does not mean ignoring difficulties. Instead, it involves approaching problems with a hopeful mindset. By practicing positive thinking, people can improve their emotional well-being and build stronger relationships.
Guys, now it's your turn. You just heard a 30-second audio clip. You will now see 3 questions on your screen one by one. Each question has 4 options and your task is to choose the best answer. So the correct answer for this question is option number 2, expecting good results and staying optimistic. So the correct answer for this question is option number 2. It strengthens the physical health. Guys, let's see how sharp you are. I'm not going to give you the answer for the final question. Share your answers in the comment section and let's see who all gets it right. If required, play the audio again and see if you can find the correct answer. Alright, guys, to be honest with you, videos like this takes a lot of research and hard work. So if you found this video helpful, please give me a like and subscribe to my channel Hiring Guru Official. Now just click on the next important video showing up on the screen and I will start briefing you further.